Okay, everyone, welcome to Volume 12. Hopefully you had some of the players that went off for you. Hopefully you knew to play those Bears. I did not. DJ Moore, Fields, ETN I did start, so hopefully you knew to start him. Zach Moss, I was debating it right before game time, so hopefully you knew better than me and started him. Let's jump into a few things that we got right.
To alcohol, the cause of and solution to all of life's problems.
First of all, Jacob coming through with Jaleel McLaughlin, running back for the Broncos. He actually looks like he might be the solution. Kind of got a little bit of Alvin Kamara to him. So if you haven't added him and he's available, I would definitely look at scooping him up in your leagues. Next, Chuba Hubbard for the Panthers. They split it right down the even. Their shares touching the ball with Miles Sanders. If you can pick him up, if you're desperate for running back, like a lot of teams are. And finally, Jonnu Smith. He's someone for that tight end scarcity. I know Pitts finally popped a little bit, but Jonnu, he had more targets. He had more of a snap percentage. So that might be someone that can help you a little bit for that tight end position. Now, let's get into some things got wrong. All the people on TikTok, if you're not following us on TikTok, you can watch us do our start sits on there. All right, I got Ramondre right. I got Deebo Samuel right. I said to sit both of those, but no, we want to focus on Joe Burrow giving me that hate. I get it. But look, I thought his calf injury was going to be nagging him all season long. So I was trying to give you the best sound advice I could with Joe Burrow. And I still think he's going to have up and down season because of him playing through that. And because of that, I hope he comes at a discount next year, just like Justin Herbert did this year. If that's the case, I'm definitely going to be scooping him up at that discount, just like I did with Justin Herbert this year, to get that top end quarterback that falls to you like 7th, 8th round, where I was getting Justin Herbert in some drafts. So, I'd love for that to happen for me for next year, but hopefully he gets on the mend, because I do have him in a few different leagues, so that'd be great for me. Next, I'm going to talk about thing that I got wrong with Dalton Schultz. I did my I'll never let go to him, and you know what? The Houston Texans said, hold my beer, and they one-upped him even more with more yards, still got that touchdown. I based it on his target share. Okay, he wasn't getting that many targets. He was 4th in the pecking order. So the logic was pretty sound. I'm sorry if it ended up hurting you, but I am going to try and give you the best advice. Even Kevin on our own team, the mad scientist, he didn't like that so much. But again, we try to do the best we can, giving you guys the best advice we can. So if you haven't yet, make yourself a drink, sit back, enjoy. We're going to do the homework for you, and we're the Degenerate Gambling Life.
Because I'm a stud. I'm ballsy. I don't take from anyone. I smoke my stogie anywhere I want. I don't have to find a hideout place like you.
Welcome to Week 5's Studs and Duds. I'm going to jump right in. At the quarterback position, we have Justin Fields leading the way with 41 points. It may not be Chicago Bears season, but it is officially Justin Fields season. I'd be starting him as a top 3 quarterback moving forward. Unless you have Mahomes, Hurts, or Allen, he's in your lineup moving forward. We also had Brock Purdy put up 34, Jared Goff put up 33, and Josh Allen put up 32. So we had a couple other notable performances there. At the running back position, we had Travis Etienne leading the way with 36 points. It's about time to see some Jaguars on the studs list and not on the duds list. Travis Etienne looks like he's in RB1 conversation moving forward. Next best running back on the week was Zach Moss. That's right. Zach Moss said, Jonathan Taylor, who? Zach Moss said, pay me, with 34 points this week. Those were the only 2 running backs top 30, but I will give a shout out to Breece Hall. 28 points. He's doing it on sub 15 touches. This guy is a beast. Every time he touches the ball, his volume is just going to keep increasing. Breece Hall, RB1 territory moving forward. At wide receiver, we had a couple of bombs go off this week. Jamar Chase with 52 points. Unbelievable. And on Thursday Night Football, we had DJ Moore go off for 49 points. That Fields to Moore connection this week was deadly. Our only other receiver to top 30 this week was Tyreek Hill. He's been on the studs list pretty much every single week. So at this point, I'm crowning Tyreek Hill our stud of the year. Moving forward to tight end, George Kittle led the way this week with 28 points. Well done, Kittle. It's about time. Brock Purdy's heating up. 49ers are on fire. Kittle's locked in as a top 5 tight end moving forward. Dallas Goedert with 26 points and Travis Kelce with 23 points. Travis Kelce did leave the game, come back just to score a touchdown. So everyone just wants him to keep getting hurt and being done, but he's showing that he's defying all the odds with his age and he's just getting the job done. We did have one defensive stud this week, the New Orleans Saints. I did not see that game being a blowout. I was predicting a low-scoring defensive game on both sides, but good for the Saints for shutting out the Patriots. Those are your studs of the week. And now, my least favorite segment, the duds of the week. These guys aren't even worth their time, but I'm going to give it to you anyways. At the quarterback position, we had none other than Dak Prescott with only 6 points. I know your Cowboys got beat down, but you still had a chance to produce, and you didn't. Shame on you, Dak Prescott. Our other dud quarterback of the week, Lamar Jackson with only 10 points. I was expecting more out of Lamar. His floor should be 15 to 20, even on a bad passing day with those legs. At the running back position, Ramondre Stevenson leads all of our duds with only 2 points this week. And next best dud, Jonathan Taylor. I know you didn't have a good matchup against the Titans, and you're coming in to Zach Moss being the guy, but you just got paid, man. And you got outproduced by Zach Moss. Ouch. I do anticipate Jonathan Taylor moving into our studs column any given week here now, but until then, you're a dud, my guy. You're a true milk dud. Najee Harris and James Cook only grabbing 5 points this week. Najee Harris is pretty much unstartable, and for James Cook, I think this might have just been a blip on the radar. I'd keep starting James Cook, and I'd probably be benching Najee moving forward. Skinny Batman only delivering us 2 points. Yeah, I know most of you know who that is, but I'm talking about Devonta Smith, aka Skinny Batman. You should be getting more than 2 points, my guy. You're on one of the best teams in the league. Shame on you. And Michael Wilson, last week's top wide receiver waiver pickup of the week, probably got slotted into a lot of your lineups. I know I played him in a couple. Only 3 points. It was tough watching those Cardinals get smacked around by the Bengals. It's a nice little rebound game for Cincinnati. And our last dud of the week at wide receiver, Odell Beckham Jr. Only 3 points. You may or may not have started him, but the bye weeks have hit, injuries are here, and he may have been in your lineup. OBJ just ain't the same anymore. And at tight end, we had only one dud. A lot of the tight ends were able to escape dud territory this week, but Tyler Higbee stands alone on Dud Mountain with only 4 points in PPR. I could have went out there and got 4 points, Tyler. What are you doing, man? Those are your duds of the week.
6-10. 10 ought to do it, don't you think? Do you think we need one more? Do you think we need one more? All right, we'll get one more.
What's up, guys? My name is Jacob Listowski with the Degenerate Gambling Life, and on this episode, I'm going to be talking about the best waiver wire pickups for Week 6. At QB, I like Sam Howell. He's been on fire the last 2 weeks, and he's averaging 23 fantasy points per game per contest. In those 2 games, he's averaged 339 yards and 1.5 touchdowns. He's definitely worth a look this week if you need help at the QB position. Russell Wilson is another very solid option if he's available in the waiver wire in your league. He's the QB8 overall this season, and the Broncos offense is going to have plenty of opportunities to throw the ball as their defense has really struggled. He's averaging 242 yards and over 2 touchdowns per game this season. I also like Matthew Stafford, who has shown some consistency this season with the Rams. He's the QB 15 overall, and he's averaging over 15 fantasy points per game. And he's not a bad bye-week fill-in if you need some solid production this week, especially if you're looking with someone who has a high floor but not necessarily the highest ceiling at the QB position of your roster. And another guy I like if you're looking for a boom or bust play and you're very desperate for a quarterback this week is Bryce Young. The rookie is showcasing steady improvements, and he looks very good throwing the ball over the middle of the field. He threw for 3 touchdowns last week, and he has a decent matchup this week. At running back, Roschon Johnson is a good option on the waiver wire if he's available in your league. If he can get cleared from a concussion, he will be in line to be the top back in the pecking order for the Chicago running game. Johnson is an effective runner and a solid receiver as well, who will be a valuable player to have in PPR formats over the next few weeks. Also keep Deontay Foreman in mind as well in the Bears backfield. Amari DiMercado looks like one of the top options on the waiver wire this week. If James Conner misses time, he is going to get touches for the Cardinals. He showcased good patience and toughness as a runner. The rookie back also has good speed and the ability to be relevant in the passing game as well. Even if Conner doesn't miss time, he's definitely a solid handcuff to stash away just in case. Justice Hill also looks pretty good, and he's a solid running back to look at this week. The Ravens running back has looked effective carrying the ball for them this season. He's had a 56% snap share last week, and he could emerge as a top option in their running game. He also has the ability to be a valuable player in PPR formats as he caught 4 balls last week. Finally, Jeff Wilson Jr. will be activated from the IR, and he's a good option to keep an eye on. I'd recommend picking him up and stashing him away. He's a very good player, and the Dolphins like him a lot. You never know who could become the hot hand in Miami, and that's definitely an offense you want to share him. Go get Jeff Wilson and wait and see what happens before putting him in your starting lineup. At wide receiver, I like KJ Osborne if Justin Jefferson misses any time from his injury. Osborne saw 9 targets last week and converted 5 of them into catches for 49 yards. The Vikings don't play great defense, so they're always in passing situations, which could give Osborne a good amount of opportunities going forward. I also like Curtis Samuel, who's averaging 7.5 targets over the last 2 weeks, and over that 2-week span, he has scored 2 touchdowns and caught 13 balls for 116 yards. Rashee Rice is another good option on the waiver wire. The Chiefs have a good schedule coming up, and Rice could see an increase in targets if Kelsey misses any time. The talent is definitely there for Rice, and hopefully he will see increased snap share and opportunities as the season goes on. Finally, at wide receiver, I like Wan'Dale Robinson on the Giants. He's emerging as a go-to target for Daniel Jones in the Giants' passing attack. He's getting a lot of opportunities, and he could be an interesting player to stash away on your bench going forward. And moving on to tight ends, the number one guy you're going to want to be targeting is Logan Thomas. I feel like a broken record player on this one because we've talked about Thomas at least 3 times on this segment this season. He's coming off an absolute monster game in which he had 9 catches for 77 yards and a touchdown. And he appears to be one of the go-to guys in the Commanders' passing attack. You're going to be wanting to pick him up in all formats this week. Dalton Schultz is another guy you should be taking a look at. He's had 2 solid weeks now in back-to-back weeks. He has scored touchdowns. He had 10 targets last week, which he converted to 7 catches. And he's definitely a good tight end, too, going forward. Finally, I like Tyler Conklin, who looks to be Zach Wilson's preferred target. In the last 4 contests, he has had no less than 5 targets and has averaged 4 catches and 50 yards per game. He's definitely a solid option to keep as a backup tight end as we move through the bye weeks.
Now, it's that time for that tear-jerking segment for the players that we thought we'd never let go of, but we're having to let go.
Come back! Come back! I'll never let go. I promise.
For me this week, it's Brandon Cooks, wide receiver, Dallas Cowboys. I saw how you had all those 1,000-yard receivers, the Saints, the Patriots, the Rams, the Texans. I thought you could come to the Cowboys and help them, be that wide receiver 2 or 3 on my team, give me that deep discount, but no. You play for Mike McCarthy. I saw how he just deteriorated and wasted Aaron Rodgers' last few great years in Green Bay, and now he's destroying the Cowboys finally. So Brandon Cooks, I'm letting go.
Hunter Henry, it started out so good, but now you got me drinking at 3 a.m. on a Monday, so you gotta go.
You guys, I'm still here in the shower, waiting on Dalvin Cook to score a touchdown. But there's some good news. The 49ers trashed the Cowboys, and for that reason, we are dropping Dak Prescott. We're dropping him, we're benching him. Maybe you're benching him for a better quarterback, keeping him on your bench for a bye week, like when Brock Purdy goes on a bye week, or even somebody like Jordan Love goes on a bye week. But we are dropping Dak Prescott. Do what you gotta do. Get rid of him. There is some happy stuff going on here in the shower. My wife let me redecorate the place, make it a little more homey in here. So shout out to her. Thank you for taking bird baths while I occupy the only shower we have in the house. We're going to be in here until Dalvin Cook scores a touchdown. But don't forget, we're dropping Dak, we're dropping Whack, we're dropping all the Cowboys.
Kenneth Gainwell, you're not gaining at all, let alone gaining well. You were supposed to be the next LaShawn McCoy, and you can't even beat out the most injury-prone running back in the league. Gainwell.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? I've just been handed an urgent and horrifying news story. And I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen. Cannonball!
Okay, everyone, time for your favorite segment where I tell you all the defenses to try to pick up, and they're all going to be wrong. All right, I really do apologize. I put in a decent amount of work, always trying to get you guys what I think is the best defenses. So let's jump into it for week number 6 of the NFL season. So here's the defenses that I think you could stream and pick up. We're going to start off with the Chiefs versus the Broncos. It's the Broncos. Come on, Chiefs. Help me make it right for those people out there listening to me. Number 2, Ravens versus the Titans. I think picking up the Ravens is a defense that's going to show up for you. Again, Tannehill has not done much, and Henry is looking like a shell of his former self. Hopefully this isn't the week that they switch to Tajay and kind of ruin that for you. Number 3, Dolphins versus the Panthers. I think the Dolphins are a really good pickup. They're a little bit underrated defensively. Carolina is so that can be someone that you can pick up stream this week. Finally, your desperation pick, we have the Jaguars versus the Colts. I actually think you can pick up both of these defenses. I think it might be a lower scoring game, and it's one of those where you can pick them both up if it's really a pinch. That's why it's the desperation picks. But of the two, if you had to, I would go with the Jaguars. But I really don't see going with the Colts as too bad. They've been pretty formidable. So those are the defenses I think you can pick up to stream. Finally, next week, I'm going to do a little bit of fantasy basketball for those fans out there that are wanting more than just fantasy football. Also, if you're someone that watches the channel and you are really into hockey, we're looking for someone maybe do a little bit of hockey, so please reach out to us and let us know. And that's what we got going on for streaming defenses this week. Thanks.
I didn't think I'd ever need to tell you this, but I would be a bad parent if I didn't. Soccer was invented by European ladies to keep them busy while their husbands did the cooking.
Why do you have to hate what you don't understand?
I don't hate you, Bobby.
I meant soccer.
Oh yeah, I hate soccer, yes.
This is the Degenerate Gambling Life's The Added Minutes, and as always, I'm Where's Waldo. I know there was a lack of shorts over the weekend. I apologize for that. I had some stuff going on, but we'll get back on track this week, pumping them out, hoping to get them out daily. We'll see what happens, but let me get you guys into the news of what happened. We had the World Cup 2030 was announced, and 6 countries have already qualified. Why have 6 countries already qualified? Well, the host nations automatically qualify, and like the 2026 World Cup that's coming up, that'll be happening here in Canada, Mexico, and the United States, the 2030 event will be taking place in multiple countries as well, with Morocco, Portugal, and Spain set to host majority of the tournament. So a tournament in Iberia and Morocco, sweet, beautiful place. But you said 6 teams have already qualified? Why have other countries also automatically qualified for this tournament? Well, 2030 is marking the 100-year anniversary of this prestigious worldwide tournament. The 1930 inaugural World Cup was hosted in South America by Uruguay, who were celebrating 100 years of their independence. In that tournament, the host nation won the final against a tough Argentinian side. Thus, Uruguay was crowned the first ever World Cup champions. So, in ode to the first ever World Cup, the opening 3 matches will be played in South America by Argentina, Paraguay, and Uruguay in their respective countries against opponents later to be determined. The World Cup draw usually happens about a year out from the tournament, so we'll have to wait until 2029 to see exactly who those first 6 teams will be. Let us know what you guys think regarding a somewhat transatlantic tournament. The 2026 edition will see the team quantity increase from 32 to 48. So come 2030, there should be plenty of time for those 6 teams in the first 3 matches to make the travel from South America to Europe and Africa before their second matches of the tournament take place. On to the Messi and Miami watch. Their campaign to conquer MLS will have to wait until next season. Miami lost 1-0 to FC Cincinnati, ending any hope of them making the improbable run to sneak into the playoffs. We'll have to wait and see how or if Miami bolsters their squad for next year and see what they're looking like. The Wrexham watch is back for this edition. After we talked about Wrexham getting smacked 5-0 to Stockport, they have somewhat rebounded. Their last 3 matches have saw them with back-to-back draws followed by a 1-0 win over Crawley Town. They currently sit 7th in the league, and their next 3 games offer them a chance to pick up some steam as all 3 clubs they're playing are in the bottom half of the standings, and then comes the real test. They have league leaders Notts County on October 28th. We'll see if they can get that momentum going and maybe challenge the league leaders in that one. It is an international break this coming weekend for the big European leagues, but we'll see you next week with the added minutes. I hope you enjoy the break.
In poker, when I win a big hand early on in a session, it helps me relax and get into a groove where I can play my best game. I always like when I can win a hand early on because it gives me confidence for the rest of the session. Obviously, poker is one long game, and we always have to try to make the best decisions that we can at every decision point, but sometimes it becomes easier when you win a big hand early on and just kind of takes some of that pressure off and you're not overthinking it. And one thing I've seen Bart Hansen talk about is that it gives you a good image when you're winning at the poker table, so sometimes your opponents are going to get scared to go against you and they're going to let you win more pots, so that actually increases your win rate to keep playing when you're winning. And a lot of poker players do it the opposite, and I had this problem too at various points. When I play poker is when I'm losing in a session, I want to keep playing and battling until I win, and when I'm winning I want to get that big win and go away. But one thing I'm really working on is that I am trying to do better at game selecting, and when I'm in a good game, to keep playing for as long as I possibly can. Maybe I have other commitments that I have to attend to, and that's the reason why I would leave a game. And another reason I would leave a game when I'm winning big is if different players come into the game and it changes the aspects of the game. Like the other players that just came into the game are good, the bad players have left. So all those factors you have to keep into account when you're choosing to play a game, and game selection is definitely a big part of your poker winning.
I hope Jacob gave you guys some really good insight on how he kind of views playing early hands that get really big. For me, the reason why I actually want to discuss this is because 3 of my last 5 sessions, I have gone broke the first orbit. Twice it was with pretty good kings. One was King Jack and one was with King Queen. both are suited clubs. And usually I try to sit back, play, a little passive just to get to feel the table. And both times I looked down a very playable hand. I limped just to, kind of see how it goes. And it was a scenario where what I perceived as an old man coffee raised to like 20, 25. Didn't come there to let a hand go. And I called because I didn't want to blow the pot. I think that's a mistake. I'll get to that at the end. And so then the flop comes both times. I flop either the jack or the queen, so I have a king kicker pretty good. And both times, it's when they're in a blind too, sorry. And both times I lead out into me. And it was like 40, 50. And so I'm thinking here, well, I got raised. And at that point, $200 buy-in, 1-2 game. If I make it 100 more, I don't have much more, so I go all in. And when they snap me off, I know I'm no good. And it's one of those scenarios where I think my biggest mistake was pre-flop, because whenever they go off and raise to 20 or so, and I do have those blockers, I think that's where I should 3-bet just to see where I'm at. Because then if I 3-bet it to 60, 65, and they jam, or even if they flat, given that kind of type, I know to proceed with caution. So I kind of set myself up for failures. So if you're just in that table and you have a very playable hand, obviously I'm not going to tell you fold it, but maybe be a little bit more aggressive, because if you're kind of passive like me, you set yourself up for failure. Because I definitely feel like my biggest mistake was just calling there and then flopping top pair, good kicker, and then what do I do? Especially when you're that short with that big of a bet. So that's kind of the thing with 1-2. People like to be, betting pretty big nowadays, and so that's where I perceive my mistake. If you have, a different opinion, please comment below. We're all trying to learn and get better. Finally, again, going to be in Vegas for When We Were Young. If you want to meet up, have some drinks, enjoy the concert with us, please comment, let us know. If not, I will be playing poker there October 19th and 20th, most likely at Mandolin Bay, Caesars, South Point, Orleans. We will have some new gear going on, some hoodies. If I felt you or you felt me, I'll give you a hoodie. Also, I'll be selling some of them, so if you're interested in some degenerate gambling life, give some shout outs and stuff. We'll let you know where we're playing at. So please come up, say hi. We'll be there again for When We're Young. And then also just let you guys know, we're going to be there for Super Bowl weekend. Going to try to have a meetup game there for Super Bowl weekend. If you haven't yet, please like, comment, subscribe, share. Watch us on Instagram, TikTok, anything. We are more than willing to provide the content that you guys want, so let us know. So thank you guys so much. We're about to be over 13,000 subscribers, so we want to thank all of you guys. It's been amazing, and hope you guys have a great week.